Hi everyone, I'm here to do a big tray. I'm a little worried because it's kind of bent in the center and I am going to do a bloom, and sometimes if they're not flat, the bloom will move. I don't plan on putting anything out to the sides too far, just in the center, so I should be okay. I've mixed up about 12 ounces of craft resin. It is really warm. I am at 36 degrees Celsius because I was fooling around, and anytime you have a lot of resin, it does cure faster. So craft resin, 1-to-1 low viscosity resin. So I'm okay with it getting warm because it really needs to be to bloom well. So I'm going to fill the bottom of my mold, and you'll see it's going to move kind of slow. While it's moving, I'm going to go ahead and put some resin, I think maybe 1.5, 2 ounces in there. I'm hoping to save some of it because I want to, use it on another project. But I may need it all for this. We'll see. Like I said, it is a big tray. Let's just... All right, so it's slowly moving and doing its thing. I also am not planning on using any alcohol inks. I do plan on backing it with a Crackle back, so I'm okay not having a lot of color in this. So I am going to use Cast and Craft Opaque Pigment Concentrate for my white. I have the black bottle and I noticed that there's oil in it. So now I've taken to shaking my white bottle because you can't see in it, so I don't know if there's oil in it. I'm going to put 10 drops of this in my cup. While this moves around, it takes a little bit because it's such a small drop. Now I could do a couple more drops, I think, because I did put a good bit in this cup, a good bit of resin, but let's give it a stir first. We can always add more, we can't take away. Now with doing a big tray, sometimes you run into the resin not blooming in the center when you do blooms. It just has something to do with the way it cures and how quickly it cures. And I've let it get really warm, so that may be an issue we run into. That actually looks pretty good. I'm also, because I am not adding any color, I'm going to add from Laura's Art Corner Magnolia Shimmer to my white. Just put the lid on this because I've been known to tip things over. All right, so I'm gonna put just a decent sized scoop in there. And you can see our resin is still moving in our mold, which is good. I like it to naturally fill the bottom of the mold, so I try not to put too much. I find sometimes your white just drops to the bottom if it's too much resin. Just give this a good stir. All right. We're going to put it in our piping bag. And I just remembered I moved my scissors over to the other side of the room, so 1 second. I was opening a box. So I moved my scissors over there. All right. So now we're just going to take this out of here. Gonna cut a small tip off of it. I am trying to do pretty small, even though not that small. I did too small. because I am going to try not the standard bloom, but more of a drawn bloom. Oops, kind of moved on that one, didn't it? It is very thick, so it's struggling to come out of here. I actually have to squeeze it a little bit. And I noticed that I'm not quite centered. So let's see. Got the light in my eyes a little bit. See how I'm closer on this side? So I think what we want to do is come out over here a little more, right? Right. And now I'm going to and I still want to come out a little more over here. And let me stand up and even things out a little. I ended up going out further than I was going to, didn't I? That's okay. All right, I think that is good enough. I keep looking at it and going, I'm still off, I'm still off. That's okay. That's okay. Let's get a little bit more together and we'll. Now I'm going to take a look because I think I got a little blobby in some spots. So try to pull it just a little bit. All right. I actually think that's okay. I noticed this side has a little bit more curvy. So what I can do for that one is just draw a little. I have to get rid of these because I've been using them so long that they get stringies on them. And I'm just putting some extra type petals around. Actually, I think that's fine now. I talk to myself while I'm doing it. Now, for my center, I just decided to do these crushed glass bits. I did notice that since I started a little further over, I'm going to put my little bits off to this side a little bit. I'm going to put a good bit in there. Still think I need to move it over more. Maybe even a little more. It's a big tray, so I don't mind. I don't usually do big centers, but because it is a big tray, I'm not too worried about it. I got my little scoop messy. I'm also going to put just a little bit near the corners. Do I have enough? How does that look? Move them all around just a bit. They are going to pull probably to the center a little bit more as it cures, so I'm trying to give them a little more shove into the corner. I don't know if you've ever put crushed glass bits in a design. They do tend to pull with the resin. All right, let's see if there's anything else we want to give a little movement to. See, I got that silly string. All right, I'm gonna leave it alone now. All right, when we come back, we'll do the back. All right, we're back to back this. As I mentioned, because it's such a large tray, the center was going to cure less. You can see that the outside cured more, but we still have the definition in the center, which is good. My centers, I wanted on my sides, I want a little bit more crushed glass in them. So I mixed some of the crushed glass with with resin, and I'm gonna put it on here as good as I can. Look at that, I'm making a mess already today. Just gonna smash some down in the corners. And this is gonna help avoid any air pockets, but still give me a little something in the corner. So I'm smashing it in. Shouldn't move around as much because I've got resin mixed in with it. And as the resin flows to fill this, it should give a decent effect. We sort of wing these things sometimes. We'll move it around more after we get our resin in to see what it looks like. I need a little bit more in this corner. It has been setting a little bit, so it is a little bit stickier, which makes it a little harder to move around. That's okay, we'll figure it out. All right, there we go. I think I have what I want. All right. I did mix up 11 ounces of resin. I divided it amongst these 4 cups, but I put a little extra in here because this is going to be our first pour. I am going for a Crackle back, but I do want it to be dark because this is so light. In my first cup, I mixed a big scoopful of Eye Candy Shiro White and added 3 drops of the Night Blue Octopus Fluids Resin ink because I didn't want it to be white. So this just gave me a pale blue color. In my next cup, I did 7 drops of Octopus Fluids Resin ink Onyx. It is a very heavy color. It's and it is opaque. So again, I'm going for dark. My next cup from Laura's Art Corner, I did Deep Blue Hyacinth. And I did a pretty good scoop of that. Again, sticking with our dark theme. It's like a blue velvet, really. And then in my last cup, I only did 5 drops of the Mystery Blue because I wanted it to be sort of light. And this is going to be the color that starts everything out, that helps my white move. So I want to do a good bit of it. Or really my pale blue move. And I'm not doing the full cups. I'm going to do halves. And look how dark that is. This last cup, I'm not going to do all of it. I'm going to do half of what I have left because I need it to be my final. And I'm going to do the rest of the white or light blue. And I'm not worried about how it moves. I know it's because we're dealing with a square versus a circle. It is going to change our pour slightly. I'm just hoping we make it all the way to the sides easily. All right, and our last bit of blue mica powder. I'm gonna scrape this one out a little bit. And then our transparent color at the end. All right, now I'm just gonna let it flow to the sides. So you see it's getting to our little crushed glass bits. I'm going to keep an eye on that to make sure I don't see any air bubbles. I am going to hit it with my torch a couple of times because as I poured things in there, I did create some bubbles, right? Otherwise, it's just going to come into my sides and then it's going to just do its thing, and we'll come back when it's time to unmold, and hopefully the dark has really shown through to bring out our design on the other side. We'll be back. All right, and you see again, it didn't go to the center because it's so large, but let's see how it came out. All right. Oh, wow. Look at how gorgeous this is. That is so cool.